We arrived home from our week at Big Mountain at 12 years of age in that Easter time of 1965. To find 2 feet of snow on the ground. And so quickly, because the only way to clean the ice then was to take the boards down and take them off so that Dad could use the tractor and the bucket. We took the boards off the ends of the rink. We placed them over to the side, and I started thinking. And then, of course, it was time to milk the cows, and by then it was too late to do anything that night. He made one pass across the ice so that we could drive across it with the bucket. The next morning, I got up. 4 milk cans. 2 feet high, 4 feet high, put them on top of each other, put one of those 4 by 16-foot ramps on top of the milk cans, throw the snow on it, cover it with snow, and persuade my older brother to pull me up the lane. I was so intent on wanting to become a ski racer that I would do anything to convince him. My mother was in the kitchen. She came out to the living room, looked out the picture window, and saw me launch off the end of the ramp. I flew far enough to land on the center red line of the hockey rink. I exploded out of the snow and came up and somehow stayed on my feet. She dropped the dishes and yelled at my dad, "Lloyd, get out there! He's going to kill himself!" My dad was sitting there relaxing, and he had to go get his overalls on and his boots on, and by the time the second jump came, he was standing out at the red line trying to stop me from doing it, and I went zipping over his head and landed on the far blue line. I was going to convince him I was a ski racer. You're listening to Jungle Jim Hunter, and this is the 831 Living Your Best Life podcast. Our goal is inspiring participation, communicating precision, and empowering performers to podium. And please tell your friends to go to the favorite podcast and to junglejimhunter.com and subscribe, download, like, and rate and review us, and let us know how we're doing. We're getting letters all the time, and I really appreciate people writing us. Thank you so much. You can write me from junglejimhunter.com. I want to ask you a question this week. Which is easier to move, a mountain or move you to the mountain? That was the problem that I was faced with my dad after trying to convince him that I wanted to be a ski racer. And he turned to me and he said, "Son, which is easier, moving a mountain to Saskatchewan from Alberta or moving you to the mountains in Alberta?" I said, "Dad, it's a dumb question." Move me to the mountains. And Dad's favorite statement was, "It's dumb not to be different." And this was as different as I could think of. And I thought it might convince him to take me seriously, that if I harped on it in every direction, that I could do this, that I was going to get my act together and become a ski racer. And Dad's way of teaching us was to teach us to work, and then to do excellent work, and then to do excellent work faster, and then to improve on that work. And he was developing our character from the inside out. And there I was, flying over his head with no helmet on, flying who knows how many feet after my brain concussion. And he thought, and my mom thought, I was broken glass and that I should wear a helmet all the time and be careful, and that I was going to become a farmer and a hockey player, and I wanted to be a skier. And his "it's dumb not to be different" wasn't you were odd or weird. It was that if you are going to be different, you are going to be the best. People that just do the same thing, that complain about the same thing, that do the same thing, always end up making the same actions and speak the same words and communicate the same way and do the same things. And here I was trying to convince my father. After I had played hockey, I was smart, I had a severe concussion, I skied 5 days, I'm 12 years of age, and I'm telling him I'm going to be in the 72 Olympics 6.5 years from now. And add to it, I've never done this before. And I don't have what it takes. No mountain, no history, no driver's license, no coaches, no money. But I'm trying to convince my father I want to be a ski racer. Let me ask you a question. What would you do? What do you do when you're faced with a mountain of challenge over something that you say, "I know I must do it, I have to do it, I must become this"? Or do you find yourself saying, like most people, "I can't because I don't know the right people. I don't have enough time. I don't have the ability. I don't have the education. I have never done this before. I don't have what it takes"? I want to tell you, that no matter what it is you're doing, I have seen it again and again with 1,013 kids that I've worked with, that I tell them to get their act together. Yes, literally, get your act together. Use the word ACT, act. Take action. What can you do today? And here's something you can do. Start reading about what you want to do. You can go to a library and get books. You can read online. You can study online. You can search online. Well, how do you communicate? What do you want? Who's listening when you say, I can't do something? You are. Wherever you're going to end up where you most often say you're going to go. So if you say, I can't, guess what? You're already predicting where you're going to end up. And then you can journal. And you can journal what you're doing. And this is a way of communicating with yourself. And you can record what you do. You can review it. You can revise what you need to change. And then redirect your life, which is what I did. Because after smashing my head, I had no memory. And I couldn't remember what I was even supposed to do that day. And then you can begin to train. The problem with most of us in training, in learning something new, is the fact that the word train contains the word rain. And rain means it's going to be horrible. It's going to be wet. It's going to be mucky. It's going to be maddening. What is the one action you can take today to change? Then do it. Notice how everything you see, everything you use as an excuse is outside of yourself. It's not within you. And until you change you inside, you can't get your act together. You can't build character from the outside in. You have to build it from the inside out. You have to take action. You see, when you try to do it exactly the right way, or if you look at it and say it's impractical to do this, or the impact of this is so difficult that I can't do it, or you know what, I don't have the right contacts, or when I interact with other people and I tell them what I want to do, their reaction. Now, all those words contain the word act, but on the positive side, what are the facts? The fact is, no one has ever done what they're going to do before. You've never done what you're doing before. And practice? Everybody has to practice. You're going to have to rehearse things as many times as it takes. It's just that simple. And the way you gain traction, you get traction by laying down the tracks where you are going. You literally have to lay down what you're doing and where you're going to make it work. And tactics? You will learn new ways to do things the more you fail. And you have to fail more often to figure out what it is you should be doing. My quote for the day? If you're going to climb a mountain, move a mountain, or stand on top of a mountain, which is what I was faced with, won't it take the same amount of energy and growth within you as it would to climb it, move it, or stand on top of it? You bet it would. My 1% personal dare to you is this, is to ask you to fight to find 1 hour a day, 7 hours in a week, 365 hours in a year to move your mountain. That may be way too long, but I want to give you all that time so that you think, oh, I got lots of time, and you'll do what most people do. You wait till the last minute. But I had an hour to change my dad's mind. It took me an hour to set up that ramp and get my brother to pull me up the lane and jump over his head and land 120 to 150 feet away. How many hours will it take you to get your act together? I appreciate you listening. I hope that by the next time we meet, you will have grown.